Joining us now over the phone is Kenny Moore. He is the president of that local youth bowling league in Lewiston, where Dre is standing outside of now. Kenny, thanks for joining us over the phone during such a tense and tragic time. You were at the bowling alley with a lot of those children in your league when that shooting took place. Before we get into specifics of what you witnessed, just how are you doing? How are you holding up this morning after everything that you went through last night?
I'm doing all right. It was a rough night of sleep, a short night of sleep, but I'm thankful to have another day.
You know, I have to ask you what happened with you. I mean, we hear stories of survival, but I think that your parental instincts, your protective instincts would have kicked in. Did you immediately throw yourself on the body of these young people?
It wasn't quite that. It wasn't quite that heroic. I recognized that there was a gunman, and I just hollered to anybody that would listen to follow me. I'm very familiar with the bowling alley, so I knew where the exits were, and I tried to get as many people out as quickly as I could.
I think that's heroic. I'm just letting you know. You definitely got people out of there, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kenny, what do you know at this time? You know, we're looking at almost 12, or I guess 12 hours later at this point in the morning. What do you know about victims last night? I mean, did you know any of the victims? I imagine that you did. What information has law enforcement shared with you this morning, and what are you learning about the people who were killed and injured on the inside?
Honestly, I'm not hearing a lot about the victims on the TV and on the news coverage. They're not releasing a lot of names of victims. And I don't know if that's for a specific reason, so I'm not sure if I want to release names of victims.
Sure. That's respectful.
Unfortunately, one of the victims was my head coach. I run a youth bowling program. And the kids that were in there last night were there just for a 2-hour practice session. They came in to practice bowling, and the night turned to chaos.
In terms of what you would know, and again, I don't want you to disrespect that decision not to release information about the victims. I get that. But yeah, we don't know a lot about Lewiston, having never been there. But right, what would you want people to know about this community? I heard from one of the women who we spoke to last night on Banfield that it's likely that everybody knows somebody who was inside that bowling alley, like you knew your coach, and our condolences to you. Right.
I mean, Lewiston, you know, I guess most important, what I'd like to say is that every person thinks that something like this won't come to their community. And I was of that mindset for a long time. But I think this just shows that it doesn't matter where you're at. If something like this is going to happen, it's going to happen. And we gotta figure out how to stop it from happening. That's the problem, is that it's happening way too often.
Yeah, we have to figure out how to lower the temperature, especially with people like this who have had red flags before. I'm curious, Kenny, you know, law enforcement has now released all these still images of this person of interest. It's 40-year-old Robert Card. We see him holding this rifle in a brown hoodie, pair of blue jeans. I'm curious, is this someone that you had ever seen at the bowling alley before or around town, with us talking about it being such a small community, or is this a complete stranger to you?
Right. He's a complete stranger to me up until 7 o'clock last night when he walked through the bowling alley door. You know, I heard a pop go off, and inside the bowling alley, that was the loudest bang that I have ever heard in a bowling alley, and I've been in bowling alleys since I was 6. So, my first thought was the equipment. Did something just break? Is there something else wrong? But, when I looked around the corner and looked towards the entrance of the bowling alley, I saw that man, and he was basically fumbling with a jammed gun.
Wow.
And if that, I had a lot of trouble falling asleep last night, because if that gun hadn't have jammed, if he hadn't had trouble with that AR style rifle, would he have made it down the aisle where I was? And like I said, I was able to get a group of people out, but there was still a group of people that didn't want to cross that corridor and come to me.
Oh.
So the fact,
Wow.
the fact that he had trouble with his gun and he decided to leave, saved people's lives. But there was still, I think, 7 casualties, 8 casualties at the bowling alley alone.
And that was people who were sitting ducks, because after you were able to get some people out, you were motioning people to come to you and follow you out of that bowling alley. But some people were just paralyzed with fear. Is that what you're telling us?
Pretty much. I mean, the shooting happened fairly quick. He came in and took very deliberate shots at 3 people that tried to charge him. The general manager of the bowling alley, Thomas, I think he was one of the first people to go towards the gunman. And then there was 2 other gentlemen, and nobody could get to him, because at that point he was firing rounds.
So those 3 people were killed in trying to stop him.
Yeah, I mean, instantly.
Was your coach one of those people?
I'm not sure. My coach was a little further off to the side. Okay. I think that shooting happened while I was running to the door the first time.
Right.
To show people where that exit was. And then I stood at that door for a while and expected to see him come around the corner and go towards the people that were trapped. But after 2 or 3 minutes, I didn't see that. So I hollered across the building to a good buddy of mine, Dylan, that was there with me. And I said, "Dylan," and he answered back, "Yeah." I said, "Are you good?" He said, "Yeah." At that point, I felt comfortable enough to go back into the building and to, at that point, it was, okay, how many people are down? Is anybody still alive? And I went into, almost like an EMT.
First responder mode, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I can't imagine, being there last night, not knowing from what direction the shooting was coming from, where that gunman was going next, where the evil, was coming from, and from one moment to the next. 12 hours later now, Kenny, are you joining us from home? Are you hunkered down at home like the rest of your community per the advisement of law enforcement? And talk about the mood right now with people in your community not being able to see and talk to one another because nobody knows where this person of interest is.
Right. Yeah, it's a little unnerving. I mean, they located a vehicle in Lisbon, which is within 5 minutes from my house, was where that boat launch is. So, the bowling alley is across town, and now I'm at home, and I'm pretty close to the scene where they found his car. So it's kind of weird how this is playing out. But my plan for the day is to go on about my business. I'm going to finish this interview. I'm going to change up my clothes. Then I'm going to go to work.
You're going to go to work.
I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to be thankful for another day to be able to do that.
Wow.
You certainly have a lot of perspective and grace on you to be in that mode. You're probably still wearing the same clothes you were wearing last night. You probably haven't had a lot of sleep.
No, yeah, I am. Yeah.
And is there anything you want us to know about your head coach, who sadly passed away from this?
Absolutely. I mean, he was dedicated. He was dedicated to the kids in there, and he's going to be missed. He's going to be missed by the entire bowling community. He was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Bowling Hall of Fame, the local Hall of Fame, and we were actually planning a ceremony for him because he missed the original ceremony and he never got to be actually inducted in. And we were planning a way to do that for him in the next 2 weeks. And I think the bowling alley is going to be shut down for a little while. And as far as the youth league, we're going to have to wait and see what the bowling alley does and go from there. But the kids are going to miss him. I'm definitely going to miss him. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to miss him for sure.
Yeah. Well, I know he's in the Hall of Fame in heaven right now, and your name's being talked about in heaven, too, for the courage you've had to get those kids, those people out, those innocent people who just wanted to go bowling for the night. And Kenny, we're grateful that you're alive and that you can go to work, and we just hope that you and everybody is safe.
All right. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thinking of you and your community. Kenny Moore, thanks so much for joining us over the phone.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.